We've been trained to believe that if we work hard enough, that it'll build us a life of freedom, but that's absolutely a lie. Work plus work just actually equals more work. Hustle culture keeps you exhausted while the soft life, the life of rest, alignment, and intentionality is right in front of you. Most of us think, I'm broke. It's just not real for me to live a soft life because I have to keep working my ass off to make ends meet, right? Many of us believe that we can't rest or live softly until we've done it all. We've made the money, finished all the work, and climbed the corporate ladder. But I don't believe that. I've seen this work for my clients and in my own life. You don't need to spend your whole life building someone else's dream, trying to make more money, hoping to make it to retirement, to finally stop being the workhorse of America and live your soft life. You don't have to do that. You can start living softly right now. And in this video, I'm going to share one small shift to use this week to get you started right now. So let's talk about how to make time for rest, even with a packed schedule, how to stop feeling lazy or selfish for taking a break, why doing this practice prevents burnout, and how this is better than the soft life vibes that influencers talk about on social media. This is the second video in my series about soft life basics. So as I mentioned in video number 1, soft life isn't about money or aesthetics. It's about freedom, alignment, and rest. This video is your practical next step from that. I can already hear the skepticism rising in your mind. I don't have time for rest. So let's talk about that first. I'm sure you love the idea of getting more rest, but I know what you're thinking. Rashida, my calendar is full. There ain't room for anything more, even if it is to rest. I actually get it. I used to think that exact same thing. I look at my week and feel like I was running on fumes, juggling work deadlines, social obligations, and the mental load of keeping everyone else's life together. But if you're anything like me, the reality is if it's not on your calendar, it's not real. How can I make time for rest each week when my schedule is packed? Here's an answer that you probably have overlooked. Start putting rest on your calendar, because now that it's on your calendar, it exists. Rest can't be an afterthought. You have to give it just as much intention as you put behind your work.
We plan work. That's what we're taught to do, but we're not taught to plan our lives and plan our joy. And it takes planning, and it takes practice planning that out. I know you all are burning yourselves out, feeling that I have to be miserable in the process. You'll never feel like you should have joy when people are struggling. But for you all, in order to stay vital in this work, you have to plan joy. You will burn yourselves out, and you will be no good to anyone. What are you going to do that is going to make you selfishly smile? And how are you going to make sure you have that weekly, many times a week? And I dare say it, maybe even every day, you have a little joy in your life.
Rest needs to be scheduled like a meeting. It should be non-negotiable. Even just 30 minutes blocked off once a week can make a huge difference. Treat it like a client call that you can't miss, and suddenly this is what makes it real. Some of you might still feel that little tug in your chest, that guilt that I should be doing, insert random thing that you feel like you should be doing. I like to call that the guilt troll. I'm sure you've met. He's a little voice in the back of your mind making you question if it's really possible. How do I stop feeling lazy? I feel so selfish for taking a break. But here's the thing, your inclination to believe that you're lazy or selfish for taking rest, all of that's in your head. That's where emotional decluttering comes in. And here's how you do it. There was probably some situation that made you feel shame, guilt, and grief for taking time to rest. I want you to pause for a moment and allow that memory to come to mind, like fully come to mind. Feel the emotions of that situation. And then I want you to say these 4 statements. I love you. I forgive you. I'm sorry. Thank you. And allow yourself to feel and release all of the emotion that came with that memory. Why should we do this? Because even if we've processed the situation intellectually, a lot of times we still have the emotional residue on us, and that emotional gunk builds up. This is the cleaning called emotional decluttering to get all of that away. I learned this technique, and it's been so powerful for me, even though it's crazy simple. As I'm moving through life, sometimes the guilt troll will hit me with random memories that bring up an emotional response My head says, we already dealt with this. Why is this coming up again? It used to make me think I needed more therapy on a topic until I found this practice. Now I know it's like kicking up emotional dust as we move through life. And I needed a Swiffer to get it all up once for all. Emotional decluttering is the Swiffer to get rid of that emotional dust. And the simple prayer called the Ho'oponopono prayer, the magical Swiffer that gets rid of this emotional dust. Before learning to do this, I would revisit the topic over and over again, and it would just continue to bring up these emotions. But now I use this prayer, and the emotional responses don't come back anymore. There are occasional times where I might have to emotionally declutter a certain topic more than once, but I've gotten good at doing it and moving on and feeling better so much more quickly. Bring this into the context of times where you felt lazy and selfish for taking a break, and that's going to help you really process what thoughts come up. Take a second to write them down and feel the emotions that come up with them. And then do these steps to emotionally declutter them. I use it myself and with my clients, and trust me, it absolutely works. Once you release the emotional dust, rest doesn't just feel good, it actually compounds. Your energy compounds, focus, alignment, all of those things starts to flow. And if you want to go a little deeper with this or even have some help to do this in a group, that's where Freedom Fridays comes in. We block time for rest, joy, and alignment every single week so you can start reclaiming your soft life without having to burn down the life that you've worked so hard for or to keep working yourself to death until you finally get to retirement. That's two extremes. We've got a nice happy medium in there. So once you schedule rest and clear the emotional clutter, something magical happens. Your energy shifts, your alignment strengthens, you actually start to feel less burnt out, more focused, and yes, even more productive, all without having to be rich or to wait for retirement. This is what it looks like to start living your soft life now. But still, you don't believe me because now you're thinking, is this enough though? Is taking the time to schedule rest enough to actually help me stop feeling burnt out? It absolutely is. But guess what? I get your skepticism. But getting rest on a weekly basis is not only enough to help you get some momentum towards healing your burnout, it's actually essential. Let me show you how. You probably think that the main thing causing your burnout is that you're working too hard. And working hard is part of the equation. But the other part is that all that hard work you're doing is actually a bunch of things that are out of alignment. There are things that don't actually use the fullness of who you are. That means you're saying yes when you really want to say no, stuffing your day with activities that you feel obligated to do, not things that you actually want to do. And you're not asking for help because you're taking on all the pressure to do it all yourself. This is what's happening on the outside, but let's go even deeper. There's an underlying belief keeping you out of alignment that you need to attack, and it's called scarcity mindset. And let me tell you, scarcity mindset is a sneaky, sneaky little troll. It's the voice in the back of your mind that's justifying why you need to keep doing these things, why it's okay, and maybe even good for you. And as long as you keep allowing that little troll to justify or tell you it's okay to keep doing things that are actually hurting you, you won't give yourself permission to stop. We have to deal with that troll. And this is why emotional declutter is so important. Releasing the feels of shame and guilt are the steps that allow rest in. And then you add the practice of scheduling and taking time for rest regularly every single week. Both clients and I who have integrated this weekly rest practice notice clarity, energy, and productivity without the burnout. I know these things might seem small at first, but these things compound faster than you think. For me, it felt like going from being stuck in a smoke bubble to finally seeing the smoke clear. Intentional weekly rest restores freedom, soft life momentum, and protects you from the hustle culture traps. But there's still one problem. Good old social media. And I love social media when it helps me, but when it comes to the content that's gaining traction about soft life, it makes me want to barf. Let's call it what it is. Curated aesthetics. Pretty, aspirational, but it doesn't actually restore your energy. Influencer soft life equals fly nails, luxury handbags, curated aesthetics. But real soft life equals internal alignment, intentional living, and lifestyle design. And this is why when I talk about soft life on this channel, it's going to be different than most of the other things that you're going to hear. The influencers will tell you to do things that change your outside, but that's not the soft life that's actually going to sustain you. The tools that I'm going to teach you on this channel and when you work with me as your lifestyle coach are going to help you change the inside. When you change your mindset on the inside, that behavior will follow and snowball into the lifestyle change from burnout to soft life. True soft life rest is about intentional living, aligning with your values, and designing life systems that support your freedom. True soft life shifts your life, not just your feed. Even swapping one superficial habit for a real rest habit this week can start to shift your energy and mindset. So, scheduling rest, clearing emotional clutter, and prioritizing yourself builds energy, alignment, and freedom that luxury content can't give you. Here's the challenge for this week: schedule a rest block, pair it with emotional decluttering, and see how it feels to give yourself permission to slow down without guilt. That's how soft life becomes real, how it moves from a hashtag to a lifestyle that you can actually live. Now that you've gotten this first step, let's talk about how you can still live a soft life even while being broke. It's going to be this video right here. So click here to watch that video next. See you in the next video.